You ever ask an AI for a simple piece of data, like just a name or a number, and what you get back is this super polite, chatty paragraph? It's a huge frustration, right? Especially when you're trying to build something that actually works. You need clean data, but instead, you get a conversation. Well, today, we're going to tear that problem apart and show you how to fix it for good.
Okay, picture this. You go out and you hire a world-class, brilliant mathematician. You need their answer for a computer program, which means it has to be just the number, nothing else. So they go off, they solve this incredibly complex equation perfectly.
But instead of just handing you the number, they give you this beautifully written letter. Dear sir, I do hope this letter finds you well. The number you requested is 42. Now for a human, that's lovely. For a computer program, it's a complete and total disaster. And that, right there, is the core problem we're solving today.
Right, so this is what I like to call the chatbot catastrophe. It's this fundamental conflict between the raw, clean data our applications are begging for and the warm, conversational answers these big language models have been trained to give us. I mean, this just perfectly illustrates the problem. On the left, you've got this beautiful, clean, machine-readable JSON. That's what we want. But on the right, that's what we so often get. And that little bit of conversational fluff, that, sure, here is the data you requested, it seems harmless, but to your code, it's a brick wall. Your automation just instantly breaks, all because the AI was trying to be helpful. So, why? Why do they do this? Why do these unbelievably powerful models seem to prefer this conversational chaos over just giving us the clean, structured data we asked for? Well, it actually comes down to the very way they're built. To really get this, you have to remember that large language models aren't thinking. They're not using logic. They are, at their core, next token predictors. They're just incredibly sophisticated pattern-matching machines, constantly guessing what the most statistically likely next word should be based on the insane amounts of text they've read. And it all comes down to their training, specifically this process called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. Basically, humans sit there and they rate the AI's answers. And what do we humans like? We like friendly, polite, conversational answers. So the AI learns, oh, a good answer is one that starts with sure or here you go. It has literally been taught to prioritize being a helpful assistant over being a precise data machine. Andrej Karpathy, one of the founders of OpenAI, famously said, the hottest new programming language is English. And he's totally right. But here's the thing. English is messy. It's ambiguous. So if we're going to program with it, we have to be the ones who impose the strict rules and the syntax.
So if English is our new programming language, how do we enforce those rules? It's time to start taming the AI brain. We're going to build up a toolkit of techniques, and we'll start with the single most important, most foundational tool we've got.
And that is the system prompt. You should think of this as the AI's permanent job description. Your question is just its task for the day, but the system prompt is its entire career. I mean, if you hire a poet and you ask them to do your accounting, you might get rhyming numbers. You hire an accountant, you're just going to get the numbers. Setting that persona right from the get-go is everything. And just look at the night and day difference here. On the left, you are a helpful assistant. It's vague. It literally invites conversation. But on the right, you are a strict data extraction agent. You do not speak, you only output raw JSON. Now that is a direct, unambiguous command. It defines the role, it defines the rules of engagement before you even ask your first question.
Now, a quick word of warning. These models, a lot like people, can fall into what I call the negative constraints trap. If I tell you right now, don't think of a pink elephant, what's the very first thing you do? Yeah, you think of a pink elephant. It's the same with AIs. So instead of saying, don't add conversational text, it is way more effective to give a positive command like, output only the raw JSON object.
Here's another little pro tip for you. Use delimiters. When you're feeding the AI a big block of text to analyze, you can use simple tags like these to basically build a fence around the specific data you want it to work on. This helps the AI focus and stops it from getting confused by any other instructions that might be floating around in the text. Okay, so we've set the stage with system prompts. That's our foundation. Now, let's get into the really powerful stuff. The techniques that can virtually guarantee you get perfect, structured data every single time.
Now, just check out the power of giving the AI a single example. 0 shot means you give it no examples. 1 shot means you give it just one. For complex tasks, research has shown that providing a single correct example can boost the AI's ability to follow your format by over 40%. That is a massive leap in reliability.
So how do you do it? Well, the structure is super simple. First, you define the task. Then, you provide one or maybe two examples of an input and the correct output. After that, you set up your actual task. And here's the magic trick. That last line, you leave output completely blank. This creates a pattern, it's like a cliffhanger, that the model feels this incredibly powerful statistical urge to complete correctly.
This next technique, this was an absolute game changer when it came out. Many of the modern AI tools now have something called JSON mode. When you switch this on, you are technically constraining the model to produce only valid JSON. What does that mean? It means no more of your applications crashing because of one stupid misplaced comma or forgotten bracket. It's a lifesaver.
But, and this is a really important but, here's a critical warning. What happens if the AI can't find the data you asked for? Well, it might try to be helpful again and break out of JSON mode to apologize. And that will still crash your code. So you have to explicitly tell it how to fail. Instruct it to return null for a field it can't find, instead of writing you an apology note.
Okay, so you've got the tools. You know how to set a role, how to give examples, how to use these special modes. So let's talk about putting it all together and where this whole thing is headed.
First off, you've got to adapt your strategy, because not all of these models are the same. GPT-4o, for instance, is incredibly precise. It loves JSON schemas. Claude 3.5 is a beast at digging through long documents, and it works great with XML tags. Llama 3 is a fantastic generalist, but it often needs stronger negative constraints to keep it from getting too chatty. You have to know your model and adapt.
And for anyone out there who's actually building applications, this is it. This is the ultimate cheat code, function calling. See, instead of asking the AI to write text that just looks like JSON, you're essentially telling it, hey, I have a function, here are the parameters it needs. I need you to call it. This guarantees that the model's output will be a perfectly structured object that matches your function's requirements. It is, without a doubt, the most reliable method we have today.
And all of this leads to a pretty big question people are asking all over the place. As these models get smarter and smarter, is this skill, prompt engineering, is it dead? Are we even going to need to do this in the future?
And the answer is a very clear no, because for any serious enterprise-level application, guessing is never going to be good enough. You will always need certainty. So the real question isn't whether prompt engineering is dead, it's about who's going to master it. Because turning a chaotic, creative AI into a precise, reliable engine for automation, well, that's not just a skill. It's the future of building anything meaningful with this technology.